Hey, I'm Kev, and welcome back to MotoGP 17 Managerial Career Mode, but it's been a world of pain when I've turned up difficulty level to the hardest, but we're going to turn it down to hard for our next race, as you briefly saw there, which is around the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans in France. So yeah, let's turn it down to hard, and let's see how we do. As here we are around the Bugatti track, and it's a very difficult track as well, much more tight and twisty in low speed compared to its much longer version brother, which is used for the Le Mans 24 hours. But here we go, let's talk you around this lap as we get out the final corner in second gear. And a home race as well for Peugeot. In inverted commas, it's honed by Mahindra. And was that a bike going off track? Let me buy? The AI do that in this game? Amazing. So you can go flat out during the first right-hander, then into, the Donut S. Want to break down to second gear and hit the apex, ideally. Then under the Dunlop bridge. And now this is where we go right instead of left. Let's go into this long right-hander. It's an age before you can get on the power, really, especially in the wet. But then we got some more tight corners. A left-hand hairpin here. It looks like it's so inviting on the entrance, but then it just tightens up the further you go round it. And then on the power, down the hill towards the double right-hander. Such a tricky braking point. We get it down to first. Yeah, this is where our opponents are a bit better than us. Then the idea, you want to hit the apex and not have an opponent on the inside. The second apex where you can accelerate out of the corner. Then build the speed down his back straight up to fifth gear for heavy braking. Down to second for the first left-hander. Get out of our way. And then flat out during the right-hander. And now the final sector. Down to second gear, and you've got to get into apex early because there's a bump there that can really push you wide. And then for the second left-hander, you're going to hit the apex early again, and then again a double right to end the lap as we rejoin the main circuit. And take that in first gear, actually hitting the apexes for both of them as well, which is a surprise. We do a 49.6. which is already 2.5 seconds off the pace. But I felt like that was a decent lap at least on the Peugeot. Let's see if it is for a qualifying position. So we're not on the first page, of course, as Ron Mir takes the pole with 47 flat ahead of Martin and Canet. Finati 4th, Belega 5th, McPhee 6th, Di Gian Antonio 7th, Bassini 8th, Bigno 9th for Righetto 9th. And then Antonelli in 10th. Top Peugeot is Kornfeld by a tenth of a second, or just under a tenth of a second from McDonald in 17th and 18th. We're back on the sixth row of the grid. We're back in a very happy position in qualifying, back to being slightly competitive as well, even though we're over 2.5 seconds off the pace. And there's our teammate last on the grid for 52 flat, 5 seconds back. Let's see if we're any good in the race though. As here we are in the garage meditating before we take part in the 5th round of the season. It really has flown by this season, it feels like, doing all the extra activities you do in managerial career mode. As we see an all-Italian third row once again. Drink, if you had that on your drinking game list. As there's Kornfeld and McDonald, a very happy blue still in 18th. On the grid, Binder in 24th. Herrera in 26th, Bow in 25th. See the Italians on the Mahindras on the 10th row, and right at the back is the other McDonald. As I didn't even press the button to skip the formation, that just did it automatically there. Maybe that's a bit of a bug. That certainly happened on occasion in Valentino Rossi the game as well. As we're building up the revs with riders around us on this grid, we can actually see the lights if we want to. We can squint hard enough. We get away, get a better start than Kornfeld, who once again is our main opponent in this race. We want to be the top Peugeot. Points is just a bonus. As we've got Della Porta on the Mahindra on our outside. We've lost out on the run to the first corner. Braking slightly early because we actually want to hit the apex of the next corner. We had to take the outside line. Oh no, we're down. Trying to make positions early. McDonald is down to last. And it's not the McDonald you're thinking of. There's another crash. Now let's see on hard difficulty if our opponents just speed up suddenly, where we can actually catch up to them. As you see the tyre rider up to 29. Once again, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. I'll probably offend someone in 15 different languages. As we go out of the left-hand hairpin. He's also got rid of the trees on the right-hand side, from what I remember. Going to the Rossi game. Just a little minor point, but again illustrating how Marston have done little changes for this game. And so it's a big change of really pushing this engine for its farewell outing, I believe, is this game. And the engine, of course, was made for the MotoGP games when Marston got the licence around 5 years ago now. So the first game was MotoGP 13, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but that's what I remember. So catching up to the finish rider, catching up to a teammate ahead. So hey, on hard difficulty, it seems to be our difficulty at the moment on this Peugeot. I'm sure if we had a Honda or a KTM, we would be on realistic and semi-competitive on those bikes. But on a bike that's seconds off the pace, up to 5 seconds off the pace as well, hard difficulty is definitely our place. So let's just ignore those three races. They never existed, did they? As we go flat out during that right-hander. Oh, braking late again. For the double. For the S there, the Donald S. We get a minor time penalty. Less than a tenth. I would take that. For losing maybe a second or two. By cutting the corner there. Then straight lining it and taking back probably a second. So catching up to the back of this field, a 6-lap race. As you can see, it's just these long straights which are really killing us. It's into the braking zone, so we're not losing out too much like we were in Argentina or Mech or Jerez. Just down these straights. Even though there's not many straights around this track. No, just 3 of them, really. Much more about the corners here. And so the main circuit where they have, of course, the Mulsanne Straight, those public roads. It's all going slightly wide into that left-hander, right-hander. Now we're going into the left-hander. Can you tell I'm recording like 4 or 5 episodes in a row yet? I'll get my speech all wrong. And also keeping an eye on them on 24 hours while I'm recording these as well. Just saw someone spin, so that caught my eye. That's perhaps why I ran wide in that right-hander. Just again, another half second on the finish rider in front, but we're not really making inroads like I would have expected, considering our pace. Qualifying. The first half of that first lap, or the first bit of that first lap. No, until this corner, so the first corner of the first lap. As we are approaching the halfway mark of this race, you can see you lose a couple of tenths in that first sector. Not our sector. Definitely this middle sector, isn't it, as well? It's the last sector, really, we're going to be making time. So deep braking, and we can really see our teammate now as he gets overtaken by the Finnish teenager who participated in the Red Bull Rookies last year. He can step up to Moto3 this season and having a tough time of it on the Peugeot, just like we are as well. Then it's like those points in Qatar might have been an anomaly rather than the norm that I really would have hoped, but realistically, speaking with this bike, yeah, that would have been an anomaly. But not surprised it is. As I say, we have caught up to the back of our teammate now. Can a McDonald clan have a battle in the second half of the race? And oh, damn, McDonald already seeking. Going down the inside of Patrick. It's a Kenyan going to backen us up. 45-2 for Mir at the front. Go around the outside of our teammate. Into the right-hander. I thought he's good at cornering. As we do a 47-3. Less than 2 seconds off the pace compared to, what was it, 4 seconds off the pace in Spain? 5? Which was the norm on hard difficulty, so it seems to be a really big step up, it feels like, from hard to realistic difficulty. So you lose out to our fellow McDonald, outbreak ourselves once again into the Don S. Really got to check it out on the last 2 laps. As we are in the second half of the race now. That second back before that long right-hander where we do gain a few tenths of a second. But enough to get a run into this. Oh, left-hand hairpin. What are you doing, McDonald? Nice move. On the Finnish teenager. Great to see. We get up to 5th gear. Gearing's a bit long here. I'm using the Qatar gear and I'm using that setup everywhere. It's kind of my base setup here. With the Peugeot, as it seems to work well in Qatar, I might as well just use it everywhere. And I don't really know much about setups either and how to change them, what's really good and what's really bad. So yeah, I'm just using that setup everywhere, and I probably should have adjusted the gearing for here. It is a bit of a straight line, as you can see in front. So if we get one position, I fancy getting a couple more. But let's see if we can get that one position. As here we go. Repeat of the last lap, maybe. Oh, not quite close enough, but he has been held up by the Finnish teenager. He can go down the inside of both of them as he tries to go back on us. And that second right-hander. But we get past him up into 31st. We've got the tie rider in front. So hey, on this penultimate lap of the race, things are actually nicking up for once in this race. So we're braking slightly early, I feel like, for that first corner, but again, they have mega braking distances, our opponents. They managed to make the apex, and now we're leaning on each other, and it's like, what? Stop leaning on me! Trying to push me wide? I'll push you onto the grass, mate. This is Peugeot rivalry is heating up here in front. And they dive down our inside like our teammate did to him on the previous lap. Easy. Now we're going to try and hold on into these downhill right-hander. I get the feeling we're going to be dive bombed. Oh no, we do hold on. Oh no, we get dive bombed on the second part. As he carries the speed through. I would have carried the speed through if there wasn't someone on my inside, unfortunately. So we lose out and we're back to last. We can dive down the inside of our teammate here. He dive down the inside of the Finnish rider. Oh, not quite. Gave him a good luck hit though. Bit of nowhere here. Diving down the inside of our teammate. Almost a little Rossi there. Really put the anchors into the ground there to get the bike into that corner. And now the penultimate corner. Seems to be our corner. Down the inside. We keep that tight line for the final corner of the lap. As now we've gone to the final lap of the race. 48-1. Disappointing that time, but we're battling, as you can see, with our Peugeot colleagues. One of them our teammate, one of them our new rival, I think, from overtaking Danilo, who's in his home race, of course, here in France. You see, cut the corner. I got a second time penalty. No way I gained a second there. Get out of here, game. Look at that. The gap's virtually the same. To the rider in front, rider behind. Ridiculous. Gain no advantage there. If I can't hit that much, we're just keeping the advantage, not losing any. As can we make up a couple position on this final lap? not really able to break ourselves like that, and that allows our teammate down our inside, who pushes us right. God damn it. Was never allowed to take that second part of the corner, was I, in this battle? That really compromised us on this back straight heading into this chicane. I know I got out the groove there too early on the power. And that left-hander. Here we go, dive bomb into the right-hander. Down the inside of both of them. Up into 31st again. So we had a good battle this race. A bit different from realistic liberty. Shame it was for 31st, 32nd and 33rd. As we do cross the line with a 47.4. Was that our fastest out of the race? Just 2 seconds off the pace in that race. Compared to qualifying, where again we're a bit slower, so again, maybe something that needs to be looked at. Milestone, as Mir and Canet set identical best lap times. And it's a Spaniard podium, sorry for that, as Martin was third. I'm using my voice after that exciting race, I'll say. With Fenati 4th, Bastianini 5th, Otel 6th, Antonelli 7th, Belega 8th, DG Antonio 9th, and the Italian in 10th. For the last point going to Suzuki, Japanese rider on the Honda. Once again, Mahindra just over a second back from a point with Della Portia. They're knocking on the door, Mahindra, of a point. They're going to get it eventually. Kornfeld top Peugeot in 21st, and the other 3 Peugeots right at the back, as I finished last due that time penalty, which I felt was a bit ridiculous. As Mir takes the championship lead ahead of Belega by 6 points, Kenat just 7 points back in 3rd. The Italian in 4th, Bastianini 5th, Antonelli 6th, Martin 7th. Ertel again, a good result, but down the order to 8th as Martin jumps in with that podium. Fenati 9th, McPhee in 10th, and McDonald down to 16th. He's been jumped by Rodrigo, the Argentinian rider on the KTM, as 20 riders have scored points, with Suzuki up to 19th, and who's last yet is McDonald. And in the constructors, KTM lead by just 4 points from Honda. We've got a great battle of constructors and riders championships at the moment. Peugeot in 3rd, Mahindra still scoreless, but they're going to get one eventually. As here, Dan McDonald crashed again in France on that opening lap, but not his fault, I will say. We're down the inside. Maybe a bit brave, but mostly felt, we would have made that pass normally, or made that corner normally if the rider wasn't there. And yeah, just unfortunate after a good starting position in 18th. Didn't achieve a race objective of 25th. Neither did Patrick McDonald, even though he had his career best, I think, 31st finishing position and finish out of the Finnish rider as well. So skills-wise, he's improved a lot. Patrick McDonald, 48 cornering, 44 body position, 45 braking out. Moto3 affinity up to 90. It's going to be 100% next time out of hill. As we lose some credits, reputation stays the same though. So we're keeping our reputation just about, despite going up to realistic difficulty and, having another incident-filled Le Mans race. As we've got another activity. We can go back to the gym for abs and back muscles, which improve our cornering ability. Go to muscle endurance, which will improve our braking ability. Got another TV advert. Or go to the gala evening. Ooh, what do I want to do? I want to improve my riders, really. But credits is tempting, as we're coming up to that point where I have to renew the activities we're doing, and credits is always helpful. Reputation, not so much, as I feel we're going to try and stick with our sponsor. So let's go for the TV advert again. And next time out is unlucky week 13 as we head to the Italian circuit, the Autodromo del Mugello. A fantastic circuit, a speed circuit though. I'm groaning on the inside already saying that. But hey, we saw in Le Mans, back to the right difficulty, competitive in qualifying, a bit more competitive in the race as well. So hopefully that will shine through in Mugello as well, especially being competitive in the race. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.